Discover the 4 zodiac signs with miraculous spiritual powers revealed in divine prophecy. In a quaint English village wrapped in lush green hills, one devoted mother, Sarah, found herself kneeling in prayer. The air was thick with the scent of wildflowers, and the warm sun danced upon her skin. Sarah's heart ached with love for her family, haunted by their struggles. Suddenly, amidst her fervent whispers, a stunning light enveloped her. A vision, 4 individuals, each embodying a zodiac sign, glimmered through the clouds of her mind, their spiritual powers capable of transforming her village into a sanctuary of hope. As she rose from her prayer, the ethereal energy lingered in the air around her. She could see the emblematic signs swirling above her, each casting vibrant colors that painted the very sky. Aries, she gasped, seeing the courageous warrior. Taurus, followed by the nurturing Earth, then the compassionate healer of Cancer, and finally the intellectual genius of Aquarius. Her heart pounded with expectation. Could this be the answer to their prayers? The news spread like wildfire. Sarah, the revered woman of faith, had glimpsed divine secrets that stirred murmurs of disbelief within the church. Zodiac signs? Is that even biblical? Echoed among the pews, grappling with the tension between faith and skepticism. While some fanned the flames of doubt, others clung to hope, eager to find the miracles promised within Sarah's vision. What was happening to her? Even her loved ones urged her to step back, fearing the weight of her calling might break her. But Sarah was resolute. She embarked on a mission, a quest to find these 4 miraculous beings, each of them lost and bound by their own struggles. As she ventured from rural retreats to urban church events, she finally encountered the first, a healer, radiant and gentle, the epitome of Cancer. Tormented by guilt over the past, this soul embraced Sarah's warmth. Together, they prayed fervently, invoking divine intervention, and the moments that followed were nothing short of miraculous. People emerged, healed from diseases long thought incurable, tears of awe filling their eyes, turning doubt into wonder. But just as the sun began to peek through the dark clouds of uncertainty, whispers of an impending storm reached the village. Darkened skies loomed, and fear took root. Sarah's congregation turned to her, expecting strength. Yet, doubt circled like an uninvited guest. Sarah felt isolated. Despair crept into her heart, mingling with her once unshakable faith. Could God really work through her, despite the storm? In the heart of the tempest, the wind screeched, rattling windows and shaking faith to its core. As rain poured relentlessly, Sarah stood firm, striving to bridge the growing divide between disbelief and hope. Her heart thundered, resonating with prayer. "O Lord, provide a sign." Just then, amidst the chaos, a vision glimmered in her heart, a whisper of grace radiating through the tempest. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. A flash of light, a surge of hope. As the storm's fury roared, Sarah gripped the prophecy tightly, pleading for the village's spiritual awakening. Her faith shone brightly, but would it withstand the storm's wrath? The villagers braced against the winds, their hope hanging by a thread. The divine mystery loomed larger than ever, and Sarah stood at the forefront, her heart aflame with courage. Where would this journey take her next? Only time would reveal the miracles lying just beyond the storm. The winds howled with ferocity, rattling the hearts of many. Yet, amid the chaos, Sarah felt something shift within her. The storm echoed her struggles. It was wild and intense, yet there was a hint of stillness beckoning from the eye of the turmoil. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, filling her lungs with the potency of the rain-soaked air, a reminder of God's power to both create and destroy. "Lord, grant me clarity," she cried out, her voice rising above the cacophony. It was then she remembered her visions: Aries, Taurus, Cancer, and Aquarius. Each figure had been infused with distinct energies. In her mind's eye, she could see their faces again, glowing as if waiting for her call. The idea that they could somehow unite, with their spiritual prowess intertwined, ignited a sense of urgency within her. Aries, she shouted, raising her arms toward the raging clouds. We need your courage. Come forth and stand with us. The winds twisted, as if responding to her plea. The very fabric of the storm seemed to ebb ever so slightly, creating a pause in the chaos. One by one, Sarah envisioned each sign. Taurus, she called next, her heart yearning for the grounded presence that would anchor her people amidst the swirling fears. Come to our aid. She could almost feel the strength of the earth beneath her feet, an energy that comforted the very ground she stood upon. The gathering clouds took on new shapes, symbols transformed by imagination and faith. It was as if the universe was rearranging, ready to align with her devotion. O divine, led by your promises, Sarah continued, her voice steady, send us those who can heal our hearts and minds. Bring forth Cancer and Aquarius. Just then, a brilliant flash illuminated the darkened sky, capturing the eyes of all those huddled together in prayer. They turned to Sarah, confusion and concern mingling with renewed hope washed over their faces. With a swift motion, she gestured towards the heavens. Look, God is listening. Watch and witness the miracle. At that moment, as bolts of lightning sketched across the horizon, for brilliant beams of light surged forth from one cloud to another, each vibrant hue corresponding with the zodiac signs. The villagers gasped, hearts quickened, and the weight of despair momentarily lifted. In the depths of her soul, Sarah sensed the energies of Aries' determination, Taurus' nurturing spirit, Cancer's compassionate heart, and Aquarius' insightful wisdom gathering strength, converging like torrents into a singular force of love. She could feel them stirring awake, her prayer igniting the very fabric of the universe, calling forth a powerful manifestation. As the village stood engulfed in a surreal glow, Sarah opened her arms wide, inviting the miraculous energy to embrace all who gathered. She felt an overwhelming tide of joy, peace, and grace wash over her, as whispers of hope began to thrum through the congregation. But just as the brightness engulfed them, a distant rumbling hinted of further storms approaching, a reminder that their journey was still far from complete. A flicker of doubt began to creep into her heart. Could they overcome all adversities? Would they truly unite with these celestial beings? As the winds shifted again, Sarah sensed the urgency to act. We need to gather the ones who are lost. We must unite these powers for our community. But how would she find them amidst the chaos? The path ahead remained uncertain, shrouded in divine mystery. With resolute fervor, Sarah turned to the crowd surrounding her. Pushing through the quagmire of uncertainty she felt within. God is on our side. Let us seek the others together, she declared with unwavering conviction. The villagers looked at one another, their faces lit with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. Would they respond to the call? And so, Sarah set forth on her quest, ready to find her celestial companions, trusting that the signs would reveal themselves, even as dark clouds threatened to engulf their journey. What awaited them beyond the storm? What further revelations lay hidden in the light? The air buzzed with divine possibility, and the next chapter of their adventure beckoned with an alluring promise. As the beams of light faded, Sarah stood before the villagers, her heart racing with anticipation. The wind whispered promises of unity and purpose, beckoning them to take action. She felt a stirring deep within, a calling to lead, but doubts lingered like shadows. How would they navigate the chaos together? Gather close, Sarah urged, her voice steady yet infused with urgency. The villagers formed a circle around her, eyes reflecting a blend of fear and hope. She could sense the electricity in the air, a tangible energy pooling amongst them, as if their collective faith could light the way through darkened paths. Look at what the Lord has revealed, she exclaimed, gesturing heavenward. These lights, these signs, they are our guides. Aries brings us courage, Taurus offers strength, Cancer wraps us in comfort, and Aquarius inspires us with wisdom. Together, they will empower us to find those who are lost, those who need us now more than ever. Whispers flowed through the crowd, hearts beginning to tune into the rhythm of faith. A woman stepped forward, her hands trembling but resolved. I know someone, Sarah. My brother, he walked away from the village. He needs this energy, this encouragement. The words struck a chord, resonating within the souls gathered there. Tell us where he is, Sarah urged, her eyes alight with fervor. Another voice chimed in, then another as the villagers began sharing tales of those who felt disconnected, those who required healing. Each story breathed life into Sarah's resolve. She understood that their mission was broader than one person. It was about rebuilding their entire community. The congregation's spirits lifted, and the fear that once clouded their hearts began to dissipate like fog in the morning sun. A collective determination surged forth, pulsing with echoes of their individual inspirations, their faith in each other burgeoning with potential. Let us divide into groups, Sarah suggested, a spark igniting in her heart. Our purpose is clear. We will find them. We will share this miraculous energy and let it break every chain. Hands gripped one another, affirming their pact. Just then, a powerful bolt of lightning split the sky, illuminating the villagers' faces. Their expressions transformed from uncertainty to fierce resolve. In that moment, they felt connected to one another, to the cosmos, to God himself. Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Aquarius. Lead us to them, Sarah shouted, her voice ringing out with authority. The storm responded, winds swirling with vigor, as if affirming their collective plea. The villagers scattered, each group moving with purpose, intertwining their unique energies, amplified by the elements around them. Sarah felt a surge of adrenaline as she headed toward the forest's edge, where whispers of her friend's name lingered like a song. God, guide our feet. She prayed fervently. The trees danced around her as leaves rustled high above, echoing their faith, urging her onward. Her heart raced with both excitement and gratitude. She knew that every step they took was guided by more than mere chance. But as she pushed further into the woods, a sudden chill swept through the air, stirring a sense of foreboding. Had they gone too far? Were they truly ready to confront the darkness that loomed ahead? Just as her doubts began to take root, she paused and raised her gaze, heart pounding. There, amidst the trunks, she glimpsed a flickering light that seemed to pulse with the same vibrancy she had witnessed earlier in the storm. Hope stirred within her, but it was accompanied by a question that loomed large: what awaited them in this mysterious glow? The journey had only just begun, and Sarah wondered if they were ready for the divine mysteries still hidden within the shadows. With her heart racing, Sarah took a tentative step toward the flickering light, its warm glow contrasting with the cool air engulfing her. The light beckoned, every pulse echoing the rhythm of her own heartbeat. What was hidden beneath its mesmerizing veil? She leaned into her faith, allowing each breath to become a whispered prayer, each step a testament to hope. Lord, reveal your purpose, she murmured, feeling the weight of her responsibility settle on her shoulders. The energy around her swirled, as if the forest itself was alive with divine anticipation. The trees, towering and wise, seemed to lean closer, eager to witness the unfolding moment. As she moved deeper into the woods, she heard the rustle of leaves beneath her feet and the distant echo of a brook. Nature, in its vibrant pulse, reminded her of the interconnectedness of all life. Yet, doubts lingered still, casting shadows that whispered fear. What if this light is a trap? A voice in her heart asked. What if the journey leads not to reunion, but to confrontation? But Sarah pressed on, heart aligned with purpose. Behind her, the sounds of the villagers faded into the background, replaced by the serenity of the woodlands. Isolation wasn't just a risk, it was part of the journey, an invitation to seek. She remembered the stories shared among the villagers, their collective wounds, the lost souls yearning for connection. She absorbed their pain, allowing it to guide her forward. Suddenly, the forest thickened, and the light grew brighter, dancing through the branches. Sarah stopped, breathless, as the foliage parted to reveal a clearing bathed in ethereal luminescence. In the center stood an ancient stone altar, adorned with symbols that seemed to pulsate under the light's embrace. Around it, shadows flickered, twisting like spirits caught in a timeless dance. Is this where we are called to? She gasped, both in awe and fear. The light shimmered, undulating with a vibrancy that felt almost sentient. It felt sacred, an invitation to touch the divine. As Sarah approached the altar, memories surged through her friend's laughter, the moments they shared, the bond worn thin by loss. She knelt before the altar, the cool stone grounding her as she placed her hands upon it. "Bring him back, O Lord," she prayed aloud, her voice unsteady yet resolute. "Let him feel this light. Let him find his way home." In that moment, a wave of warmth enveloped her, rising from deep within the earth. The light morphed, coalescing into a radiant figure shimmering with colors. It was a visual hymn of hope and healing, wrapping around her heart like a scarlet thread. She felt an answering pulse, a connection that transcended space and time, a divine response to her yearning. "Sarah," the light resonated, a voice filled with wisdom. "You are the vessel of my light. This energy flows through you, through all of them. Trust it." The figure flickered, manifesting as a guardian spirit, one that radiated strength and encouragement, embodying the very essence of their journey. She stood stunned, tears welling in her eyes. "But how? How can we reach those who veer straight?" "Listen deeply," the spirit instructed. "The answers lie within the hearts of your community. Each soul carries their light, illuminated by faith, grounded in love. Remember that as you embark on your mission." As the spirit began to dissipate, a last flicker illuminated Sarah's path through the woods. A promise imbued with urgency washed over her. They had to act swiftly, guided by this divine light, to reclaim their lost brothers and sisters. Driven by renewed determination, Sarah rose, casting one last glance at the altar, etched forever in her heart. The forest, once filled with shadows, now pulsed with vibration. The path forward was illuminated, and she was ready to lead. What awaited her at the heart of her village? Would they join her in harnessing this energy, or would fear cloud their judgment? The answers beckoned, and Sarah knew she must return to gather the faithful. As Sarah made her way back through the forest, the vibrant energy of the light danced around her like a gentle breeze, weaving hope into every step. The familiar sounds of the village began to rise again, working their way into her heart like a soothing balm. She realized how precious each soul in her community truly was, how they were all entwined in a journey of faith and light. Was it possible that each of them could be a beacon, just as she had been shown? A smile broke through her earlier fears, and she felt a rush of courage mingling with excitement. Her purpose was clear. They would gather, and together, they would ignite the spirit she had felt at the altar. Emerging from the tree-line, the village came into view, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. It was a familiar sight, yet now it shimmered with possibility. The soft clatter of life continued, children playing, mothers calling, and laughter echoing in the air. Yet beneath this surface tranquility lay an undercurrent of anxiety, an unspoken burden that weighed heavily on every heart. Sarah felt it deep within herself. Every face reflected a story of longing for connection, for healing, for light. She sought out her closest friend, Miriam, who sat on the edge of the market square. The weight of sadness seemed to cling to her like a shadow, a reminder of her brother lost to despair. Sarah hurried over, her heart aching for the woman who had shared many joys and sorrows with her. "Miriam," she said gently, kneeling beside her friend, "you must come with me. I found something in the woods, something powerful. We must gather everyone." "Oh, Sarah," Miriam replied, her voice tinged with skepticism. "What could possibly make a difference? So many have lost faith. They don't know the truth yet," Sarah insisted, her tone full of fervor. "There's a light, a divine energy that flows through us all. It's a call to each of our hearts. If we unite, we can find strength in numbers. We can reclaim our lost ones." The fire in Sarah's words ignited a flicker of hope within Miriam's eyes. "When you speak of it, I can almost believe. But how do we convince them? By sharing what I witnessed. They need to see that hope still dwells among us. Meet me by the old sycamore when the sun dips below the hills. I will tell them my vision," Sarah urged, a sense of urgency growing stronger than ever. As word began to spread, villagers gathered around the time-worn tree, their faces illuminated by flickering lanterns and a collective curiosity. Sarah stood before them, her heart thrumming in sync with the anticipation hanging in the air. She spoke of the radiance she had encountered, the figure of light that urged her to trust and listen to the very hearts that beat among them. That a hush fell over the crowd, each person grappling with their own doubts and desires. Old Mr. Flanagan, a figure once robust, now bent with sorrow, cleared his throat. What if we've lost too much? He whispered. What if hope has slipped through our fingers? Sarah stepped forward, eyes shining with conviction. Hope is not lost, my friends. It is alive, pulsing within us all. Each trial we bear, each sorrow we feel, can bring us closer to the light if we only choose to unite. But as she spoke, shadows flickered in the corner of her vision, a reminder of the darkness still lurking within some hearts. Could she truly convince them all? What awaited them on this journey? Would faith spark a divine transformation, or would old fears bind them to the past? An electric hush lingered in the air, and all eyes were firmly fixed on Sarah, waiting for her next words. Perhaps in this moment, something monumental was about to unfold. The weight of their gaze felt like both an anchor and a wingspan, raising Sarah's spirit high while steadying her resolve. She took a deep breath, the air thick with expectation, and felt the energy around her alive, breathing, vibrant. Listen to me, she called out, her voice carrying into the starlit sky that deepened above them. Many of you carry burdens too heavy to bear alone. I've walked in the woods, and I've met the light. It spoke to me of love and unity, of forgiveness and healing. We are not defeated, no. We possess the power to restore what seems lost. Whispers rippled through the crowd, shadows of doubt and questioning flickering along with the lanterns. Yet, Sarah pressed on. Each of you knows someone who has wandered far from hope. It is time to bring them home. Will you stand with me? Will you help reignite the flame within this village? The warm breath of the evening wrapped around them, thickening with possibility. Sarah noticed Miriam inching closer, her face a tapestry of disbelief and intrigue, her heart warming to the nurturing message unfolding from Sarah's lips. It would take just one spark to ignite 1,000 flames, Sarah continued, her voice building like a crescendo that echoed softly against the trees. And that spark is found in each of us. Your doubt can transform into faith if you choose to believe in the unseen. Can we not lift each other up? Can we not dare to dream again? A voice broke through the murmurs, soft yet grounded. It was young Eliza, just a child but holding wisdom in her bright eyes that seemed to see beyond the veil. I want to help. She piped up, her small hand reaching toward Sarah. I want to believe. Her innocent declaration broke the dam of trepidation. A ripple of laughter and a soft murmur of agreement swept through the crowd, awakening the sleeping embers of hope in their hearts. Sarah's spirit soared at the sight. Then let us begin, Sarah said, heart racing. Gather together your stories of joy and sorrow, of struggles and triumphs. Bring your light and darkness, all of it. For no matter how heavy your heart feels, together we can carry it. As Sarah spoke, the shadows dancing in her periphery morphed into shapes of memory, faces of lost loved ones who needed their faith rekindled. She felt the spirit of the elder woman from before, urging her on. With newfound energy, the villagers began to murmur amongst themselves, voices rising in anticipation of creating something beautiful together. The promise of unity hung sweetly in the air. But then, a chilling silence enveloped them as ominous clouds rolled overhead. A flicker of uncertainty crossed Sarah's heart. What if the storm would break now during this fragile moment of connection? Was it the enemy seeking to extinguish their flame before it could ignite? Visions of despair flashed in her mind, but she held firm. Let us be brave, she called out above the unfolding storm. The light within us is brighter than any darkness. We must trust in it. Are you with me? The response was electric, a chorus of yes and amens that crashed against the quieted night like waves on the shore. The call to action had ignited something divine, but still, the clouds loomed heavily. Sarah knew every moment counted. Her heart urged her to speak again. We will gather at dawn by the sycamore tree. We will light our lanterns and let them float to the heavens. They will carry our prayers, our hopes, and the love we share. As the first droplets of rain began to fall, she realized she had sparked something truly special, yet an uncertainty lingered. Would they truly emerge from the darkness they knew? Would faith breathe life into a new reality? In the shadow of the gathering storm, Sarah felt a spirit surge within, aware that a climactic moment was approaching. Would the storm be a tempest of despair, or a transition towards something miraculous? What awaited them at daybreak? With these questions swirling in the depths of her heart, she closed her eyes, praying for clarity and strength as the winds began to howl around them. The dawn would bring the answers they all sought, and perhaps something even greater than they could imagine. With the first light of dawn, the storm had reluctantly retreated. The villagers gathered beneath the ancient sycamore, each face painted with a mixture of hope and apprehension. Sarah stood before them, feeling the weight of their eyes upon her once more. The sky had cleared, revealing the soft glow of a new day. It felt as if the heavens themselves were watching, waiting for the promises made just hours before to unfold. "Thank you for being here," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "This moment is sacred. Let us remember why we come together. It is not just for ourselves, but for every soul that longs for light. We are each other's lanterns, shining brighter when we share our stories." The air buzzed with expectancy, and familiar faces emerged in the crowd. There was Miriam, her eyes shimmering with tears, and Eliza, holding a little lantern decorated with wildflowers, beaming with excitement. They were all present, united by a newfound purpose. Sarah felt her heart swell at the sight, a reflection of the unity she had yearned for. "Now," Sarah motioned, her arms open wide, "let us begin our circle. We will connect our voices, our hearts. Each of you has a story worth sharing. Who wants to start?" A moment passed, thick with introspection, before an elderly man stepped forward. His weathered hands trembled slightly, but his eyes shone with conviction. "My name is Thomas," he began, his voice carrying a weight that silenced the crowd. "For too long, I stumbled in darkness. But I remember the day my daughter returned home after being lost to despair. It was Sarah's encouragement that brought back the faith I had nearly lost. Today, I stand here because of the power of restored hope." His words hung in the air, sowing seeds of belief. One by one, stories flowed, each tale a thread woven into a tapestry of resilience and community. Miriam spoke next, sharing her struggles and the moments of grace that led her to this gathering. Laughter rang out alongside tears as they embraced shared burdens and victories. Eliza lit her lantern, its flame dancing brightly, reflecting the flickers of hope igniting within each heart. As the sun climbed higher, Sarah felt an indescribable energy surge beneath her skin. The weight she had carried felt lighter now, swept away by the stories of those standing with her. She closed her eyes for a moment, breathing in the sweetness of their unity. Then she opened her eyes, her gaze sweeping over the villagers. "We will release these lanterns into the sky now. Each one will carry our prayers, our hopes, and our love beyond what we can see." An enthusiastic cheer erupted as lanterns were lit and placed carefully into eager hands. With a gesture, Sarah brought everyone to silence. "Together, we are more powerful than we ever imagined. Let go of your lanterns on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The voices shouted in unison, and they released their lanterns. The glowing vessels soared upward, illuminating the morning sky against the backdrop of the sun, transforming despair into a cascade of light. Breathless, they watched as the lanterns drifted farther and farther, merging into a constellation of dreams. "Look!" a voice exclaimed, pointing skyward. "The lanterns are joining together." Sarah's heart raced at the sight. These small flames now formed a stunning cluster in the sky, a visible representation of hope grounded in faith. In this act of release, something profound was shifting within her, and among the crowd they were no longer just individuals, but a symbiotic force, united in purpose and love. Still, a whisper of doubt flickered in the corners of Sarah's mind. They had ignited hope, but would it be enough to sustain them through what was to come? As the last lantern disappeared into the horizon, a faint but resonant voice seemed to echo amidst the trees. It felt like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. What other wonders are in store for us? Sarah pondered as she turned back to her companions, their faces still glowing from the magic of the moment. The morning had given them hope, but the day stretched ahead full of challenges yet unimagined. What awaited them as they moved forward on this renewed journey? A gentle breeze stirred, teasing the last remnants of the sky's golden glow as the villagers began to gather their thoughts. The air was seasoned with anticipation, each person wearing a contemplative expression. Sarah stepped forward, her heart fluttering like a bird that had just taken flight, buoyed by the stories that now surrounded her like an invisible cloak woven from shared faith. Today, she said, her voice carrying clarity, we stand on the brink of something new. Just as the lanterns took our hopes to the sky, we too must rise, carrying with us the courage we've ignited today. Eliza, still clutching her flower-adorned lantern, nodded vigorously. Let us not forget the strength we unearthed together. What if we each committed to a small act of love this week? Her enthusiasm inspired murmurs of agreement among the villagers as they nodded. Sarah's mind began to whirl. Yes, what if each act of kindness and love fueled the light they had just sent forth? Together, they could shine brighter still. Each response would create a ripple effect of warmth and compassion, extending far beyond their small village. Miriam raised her hand, her voice steady. We should mark this moment. Perhaps we can make a map of our stories, charting where our light spreads. Everyone's contributions would be a testament to our united spirit. Her suggestion ignited a spark in Sarah's heart. A beautiful idea. It will remind us that every small act matters, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the vastness of life. The villagers buzzed with excitement. In just moments, the initial sense of doubt that had lingered began to disperse, revealing a radiant conviction. They each grasped a piece of parchment that Eliza had found in her grandmother's attic, and together they started to jot down their intentions for the week ahead. Thomas wrote of visiting a neighbor who kept to herself, while Miriam penned her wish to bake and share bread with families facing hard times. With each shared intention, the pieces of parchment fluttered high, as if they held wings eager to soar. But amidst their laughter and purpose, Sarah felt something deeper stir within the silence, the weight of a pressing question. What did God intend for them beyond these small acts? As she contemplated, a hush enveloped the gathering. It was as if the world paused to listen. Each villager could sense the change in the atmosphere, the deepening of their moment together. Sarah glanced at her companions, eyes wide with realization. The very fabric of our lives is woven together not only through our actions, but through faith in the divine. Together, we are creating space for miracles to unfold. A ripple of awe passed through the crowd. Sarah felt a glowing warmth within her, as if a sacred energy danced among them, beckoning them to lean into the unknown. They needed to pay attention to seek out the wonders that awaited them just over the horizon. Let us remain open, she continued, her voice trembling with gentle fervor. What if every act we commit leads to a greater divine revelation? In our dedication, we might uncover dreams we never knew were possible. As anticipation swelled, the group instinctively moved closer, forming a tighter circle. The bond among them was palpable. A sacred energy buzzed in the air, almost sparkling. I feel it, Eliza exclaimed, her eyes glimmering with fervor. What if this is not just about us? What if there is a bigger purpose? Indeed, Sarah whispered. What awaited them in the unseen? What wonders would be revealed through their sincere intentions? She could feel the weight of possibilities pressing against her heart. With that unspoken challenge hanging in the air, a new journey was just beginning. Faith was a journey, a pilgrimage of the heart. What divine interventions would guide them next? As silence loosely threaded through the gathering, a soft, knowing breeze brushed past them. It whispered secrets meant only for those willing to listen. And in that moment, the villagers stood poised at the edge of discovery, ready to embrace whatever treasures awaited them. As the breeze continued to swirl around them, gently lifting leaves and scattering petals, the villagers felt a profound sense of being tethered to something much greater than themselves. Each heart was tuned like a delicate instrument, resonating with the harmony of their united spirits. Sarah looked around, allowing the moment to settle, almost as if grounding them in their collective purpose. Miriam, what do you think we can do next? Sarah asked, yearning for the wisdom that lay in their shared experiences. Miriam thought for a moment, eyes closed as if she were searching for answers in the very depths of her soul. Perhaps we can share our stories in the village square this weekend. Each act of love can be a thread in our tapestry, a testament of how God has worked through us. A ripple of excitement erupted from the gathering. Thomas leaned in, his brow furrowed. But what if sharing our stories brings vulnerability? What if we're judged? Yes, that fear is real, Sarah acknowledged, her voice steady and soothing. However, sharing our experiences opens our hearts, and that is where the light shines brightest, where the healing begins. With that, Sarah sensed a collective exhale of relief, as though their burdens were being lightened. It was in this moment of unity that something spectacular happened. The air tingled with electric energy, and the villagers glanced around in curiosity. From somewhere nearby, a soft chime echoed the gentle sound of a distant bell ringing, like a call from the heavens inviting them to take notice. The soft melody swayed like a prayer, wrapping around them and whispering of divine possibilities. "We should heed that call," Eliza said, her eyes shining with inspiration. "Let us invite everyone, not just the villagers, but anyone seeking light." Her idea ignited a flicker of excitement. It didn't just feel right. It felt divine, as if they were obeying an unseen guidance. The buzz of conversation surged as everyone began jotting down thoughts how they would spread the word about their gathering, how they would share their experiences, and how they could weave together the stories of everyday miracles. Thomas stepped back, his eyes reflecting the growing flicker of hope. What if we call it the Festival of Lights? A celebration where we shine bright not just for ourselves, but for anyone in need? Yes. Sarah clapped her hands, enthusiasm bubbling up. We'll create a space for love, where everyone can share in the warmth of their hearts. As they brainstormed, the atmosphere swelled with the energy of possibility. Each intention, each story, felt like a candle being lit, illuminating shadows that had long lingered in the corners of their lives. They envisioned laughter that would fill the air, voices lifted in joy and in testimony, echoing along the cobblestone pathways. But amidst the excitement, Sarah felt that same weighty question tugging at her heart, the mystery that lay just beyond their reach. What if this festival isn't just a gathering? What if it's a doorway? A bridge to something beyond what we can see? A profound silence enveloped the group. Then Miriam spoke softly. Perhaps it's not merely about the celebration, but about the connections we form, the divine connections that God wants us to recognize. As they contemplated this, suddenly the soft breeze picked up again, swirling around them, whispering in their ears. Together, they closed their eyes, feeling their hearts race, each pulse sinking like a heartbeat of collective faith. The edges of their hope began to blur into something more, a world of wonder and revelation awaiting just behind the veil. And as they stood together, hearts open to the sacred, a single thought broke the silence. What if? What divine mysteries await us as we step into the light? The villagers exchanged knowing glances, feeling their purpose deepen, the air alive with sacred possibilities. Their journey was just beginning, but they could sense the winds of change stirring ever closer. What miracles lay ahead as they took their first steps into uncharted territory? As the sun sank low on the horizon, casting a golden hue across the village, a divine stillness settled over Sarah and her companions. They gathered at the sycamore, the epicenter of their united journey, each heart pulsing with expectation. The moment had come to manifest all they had dreamed, to illuminate the paths ahead for those seeking light. Today, we step into the unknown, Sarah declared with conviction, her voice ringing clear, and we do it together, as one family of faith. This festival will be a testament to our resilience and love. A gentle wind stirred the branches overhead, as if affirming her words. There was a palpable energy in the air, electric with hope and courage, urging each of them forward. Eliza, her youthful spirit shining brightly, bounced on her heels. "We can make signs. Draw all that we want to share." Her excitement spread, igniting a fire in others. Creatively, they envisioned lanterns adorned with words of encouragement, stories of healing, and symbols of each zodiac sign that had spoken to Sarah, connecting everyone to their unique gifts. As the villagers set to work, laughter echoed through the square, blending seamlessly with a sense of sacred purpose. These were no longer mere acts of kindness, but sacred offerings to God, manifesting His love in tangible ways. Miriam's hands were steady as she painted vibrant colors onto lanterns, her heart warmed by the spirit of community surging around her. "What do we want to say?" she asked, galvanizing the group to consider their true intentions. "We want to say hope lives here," someone called out. "We want to say love never fails," another chimed. Each proclamation, each artful stroke on fabric or parchment, became a declaration of their faith in the divine connection binding them all. They would invite souls near and far, lighting the way for those lost in darkness, filled with anticipation for the miracles that would take shape as the sun dipped below the mountains. Painting the sky in hues of pink and purple, Sarah felt an overwhelming gratitude swell within her. She gazed across the faces lit with fervor, feeling the collective heartbeat of her village. In her heart, she whispered a prayer of thanks, recognizing this moment as the culmination of their shared journey, a sacred manifestation of God's unfailing love. The night fell, revealing a starry blanket of presence as lanterns took flight, casting their warm glow through the village. Sarah stood in the center, surrounded by her friends, watching as families gathered, each face revealing a story yet untold. She could feel a sense of urgency rising, her spirit responding to every whisper of hope. "Let us begin the Festival of Lights," she exclaimed, her voice rising above the soft rustle of leaves. The crowd hushed in shared reverence. "Let the light of our hearts shine brightly, reaching those in need, illuminating every shadow with the promise of divine love." With that, as the first lanterns floated into the night sky, an astonishing sight unfolded. A brilliant cluster began to form above them, a celestial tapestry woven not just of light, but of intention, love, and the unbreakable bond forged in faith over the hours spent together. Gasps escaped from the villagers' lips, eyes widening in awe. "Look," cried one of the children, "it's like the signs are dancing among us." And indeed, they were. Each lantern pulsed like a heartbeat, igniting the night with shimmering colors that reflected the unique gifts of Aries, Taurus, Cancer, and Aquarius. It was a divine dance, orchestrated by the heavenly energies Sarah had called forth, interlacing their shared lives with the cosmos. That a quiet voice echoed through the crowd. "This is what hope looks like," Thomas exclaimed, tears sparkling in his eyes. "Yes," Sarah's heart soared. "Together, we are a manifestation of God's light, bound by love, courage, compassion, and wisdom." Miriam stepped forward, her resolve ignited by the swell of energy surrounding them. "And today, we stand not just for ourselves, but for every heart that aches, every lost soul waiting to be found. Let our hearts reach out far beyond this festival into the world." As the lanterns illuminated the night, weaving their way into a magnificent constellation, they symbolized the radiant possibilities held within each villager. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling an inexplicable peace embrace her. "Tonight, we embrace our purpose," she proclaimed, meeting the gazes of each friend. "We are stronger together, and guided by faith, we will continue to spread our light beyond these hills, inviting all to join in the goodness of God." With renewed determination, they turned as one toward the horizon, knowing they were about to embark on a new journey, one filled with healing and connection. Together, they would bend the arc of their destiny, living out their faith, staying open to the mysteries that awaited. In that moment, Sarah understood that the Festival of Lights was just the beginning. Their journey would lead them through valleys and mountaintops, but they would be guided by the light of love. With every step they took, they would write a new story, for every act of love changed the world in ways unseen. That a profound silence enveloped the gathering, cradling the warmth of their resolve. They had found their calling, and their spirits soared with the divine promise that lay ahead. And as the stars twinkled brightly above, shining down on their sacred gathering, Sarah whispered into the night, "Let this be the dawn of our shared miracle, a testament to God's unfathomable love." With hearts aligned, they stepped forward into the light, their mission illuminated by faith and the power of community. The journey would be impactful, earnest, and divine. Now, I call on you. You need to subscribe to our channel immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will ignite your spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let this divine message spread. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this incredible ending. We want to hear your stories. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this unbelievable manifestation of hope and love. This is the moment to show your support for the work of God. Don't wait even one more second to make an impact in the lives of others through light and love.